Welcome back to Secure Endpoints. I'm Megan O'Leary. Today we've got Harinder Verma with us, and we're doing a deep, urgent, very practical dive into endpoint security and malware defense. What matters in 2026, what actually stops attacks, and what to do when things go sideways. Harinder, thanks for joining.
Thanks, Megan. Good to be here. We've got a lot to cover. And honestly, it's the kind of episode I wish every IT manager heard before they got paged at 2 a.m.
Yeah, 2 a.m. calls. Ugh. Okay, first question. Harinder, reset our listeners. What counts as an endpoint in 2026? Don't just say laptops. Spell it out.
Sure. So in 2026, an endpoint is much broader. Traditional endpoints, Windows and Mac OS laptops and desktops, thin clients, VDI sessions, including multi-session Azure Virtual Desktop. Mobile endpoints, iOS and Android phones and tablets, BYOD devices that touch corporate email or SaaS. Cloud-adjacent endpoints, developer workstations with CI/CD and production credentials, admin laptops with access to M365 and security tooling, and non-traditional endpoints, POS terminals, kiosks, industrial Windows boxes. The common thread? They touch email, browsers, OneDrive or Box, identity providers, and real humans use them all day, installing things, clicking links, joining Teams calls.
So it's really the human plus device, not just hardware, right?
Exactly. In most organizations today, the primary front door is the endpoint plus the user, not the data center. Attackers know that, and they exploit it.
Why do attackers start with endpoints instead of servers? Short answer:
Because economics and psychology favor the human layer. Servers are often well-monitored, patched, and have restricted access. Endpoints sit between untrusted input, email, web, USB, and trusted access like SSO and VPN. Delivery via email and web is cheap and effective. HP Wolf Security found in Q4 2024 that 53% of threats targeting endpoints were delivered by email, and 11% of those email threats slipped past the mail gateway and were only stopped at the endpoint.
wow.
That 11% gap is huge. Your endpoint defenders are literally the last line of defense in a lot of cases.
Okay, so many teams still treat a laptop as disposable, wipe and reimage. Harinder, why is that dangerous?
It sounds tempting. Re-image, move on. But by the time you notice, credentials may already be stolen. Lateral movement could have started, and data exfiltration might be complete. Endpoints are launch pads. Credential theft via LSASS or browser tokens, lateral movement using shared admin credentials or RDP, privilege escalation via local exploits or misconfigurations. Treat laptops as disposable, and attackers will treat them as stepping stones into everything else you care about.
Right. That really reframes incident priorities. Okay, tell me about the modern kill chain on endpoints. Short overview?
Staged, not a single EXE. Delivery, phishing, drive-by, trojanized installer, USB. Initial execution, user opens a doc, macro, or LOL bin runs, like mshta.exe or PowerShell.exe. Persistence, scheduled tasks, services, registry run keys, WMI subscriptions. C2, HTTPS, DNS tunneling. Privilege escalation and lateral movement, admin tools, exploit chains. Actions on objectives, credential theft, exfil, ransomware. You don't have to win every stage. Breaking any one link often collapses the whole attack.
That's the hopeful part. Break one link and the chain falls apart. But attacks aren't just file-based anymore, right?
That's the hopeful part. Break one link and the chain falls apart. But attacks aren't just file-based anymore, right? Correct. Fileless techniques and living off the land are pervasive. PowerShell, WMI, in-memory loaders, .NET reflection. Legitimate tools get abused. PowerShell.exe, CMD.exe, WScript.exe, Office apps. If your defense is only file signature AV or training, you're blind to huge parts of the chain. You need layered behavior-driven controls,
EDR, Defender-style behavior monitoring, ASR rules, application control, host firewall, and network protection.
Let's drill into email and web, the top delivery channels. What fresh stats and trends should people know?
HP Wolf Q4 2024 stat, 53% of endpoint threats via email, 11% evade the secure email gateway. Ransomware payloads and phishing attacks grew. KnowBe4 reported steep increases leading into early 2026. Attackers weaponized trust, payroll, invoices, DocuSign, security alerts, and they combine email with follow-ups via chat, SMS, and even vishing to reinforce the ruse. Even savvy users check mail on phones where URL inspection is weaker, so it's a high success vector.
So training alone won't fix it?
No. Training is necessary, but not sufficient. Humans are inconsistent. Fatigue, distractions, mobile UX quirks. Assume users will click. Our job is to make that click non-fatal.
Okay, so defense in depth, email pipeline, browser protections, identity controls, endpoint ASR. Can you give listeners a practical concentric circle layout they can take to leadership?
Sure. First, in the email pipeline, advanced phishing filters, ML detection, URL rewriting, attachment sandboxing, and DMARC, DKIM, and SPF. At the browser endpoint, smart screen or URL reputation, block known malicious sites, sandbox or isolate risky browsing. Identity, MFA everywhere, phishing-resistant methods like FIDO2, conditional access for risky sign-ins and compliant devices. OS and endpoint, ASR rules, macro/script restrictions, application control, EDR monitoring, and automatic containment. When those layers work together, you see orders of magnitude fewer successful compromises.
Let's talk docs as code macros and scripted documents. Quick explainer for the listeners?
Office macros were for automation, not malware. Attackers weaponize them. Classic chain. User opens doc, clicks enable content, macro spawns PowerShell or CMD, script downloads payload or injects into memory. Attackers evade inspection with password-protected archives, OneNote, or container formats. High-impact control block macros from the internet. Many orgs see immediate drops in commodity malware after enforcing that, with limited disruption when rolled out phased.
Block macros from the internet. Got it. PowerShell. Why is it such an attacker favorite, and what logging do we need?
PowerShell is legitimate, powerful, ubiquitous, can download over HTTP/HTTPS, modify registry, load assemblies and memory. Perfect for fileless operations. Without logging, malicious PowerShell looks like admin activity. Enable script block logging and module logging. Collect logs centrally via SIM or Defender for Endpoint, and monitor process creation and parent-child relationships. Suspicious patterns? Encoded command with long base 64. Invoke web request piped to invoke expression, or PowerShell spawned from winword.exe.
Do we ban PowerShell entirely? That seems impractical.
Don't ban constrain. Use constrained language mode, just enough administration, JEA, require code signing for internal scripts, and monitor dangerous cmdlets. In my experience, about 90% of needed admin uses work under constrained and monitored conditions. Only a small exception set needs special treatment.
Nice. All right, let's talk Microsoft Defender as a foundation. A lot of listeners run Defender. What's the right mindset?
Treat Defender for Endpoint as a platform, not as free AV. It's next-gen AV plus EDR, threat and vulnerability management, ASR, network protection, and automatic investigation. Recent capabilities include automatic attack disruption. Microsoft reports blocking ransomware in about 3 minutes on average once high confidence is reached. But breaches still happen because Defender is left passive, over-excluded, or not centrally monitored. Minimum bar, AV plus EDR active on all supported endpoints, cloud-delivered protection enabled, tamper protection on, frequent updates, and central policy management via Intune or GPO.
Short one. What's an ASR rule, and why do people keep hearing about them?
ASR rules are behavior-based blocks in Defender that target risky behaviors. Office creating child processes, scripts from temp directories, executable content from email downloads. They don't rely on hashes, they stop the behaviors attackers use. Newer rules in 2026 block reboots into safe mode and block copied or impersonated system tools. ASR can crush macro script chains because the doc might open, but the macro can't spawn PowerShell or write an exe.
How do you roll ASR out without breaking a bunch of legitimate apps?
Audit first. Put rules in audit mode to see what would be blocked. Identify true business needs. Use targeted exclusions, not wide ones, and then phase rules to block. Start with high-value rules, like blocking Office child processes, blocking Internet origin macros, and blocking executable/script content from email web. Many orgs successfully phase in ASR across thousands of endpoints over months this way.
Smart screen and reputation systems. Are they worth enforcing strictly?
Absolutely. Smart Screen uses telemetry and reputation to block known malicious URLs and warn on low reputation downloads, new, rare, or unsigned apps. They dramatically reduce socially engineered malware. But if users can always bypass run anyway, the control is neutered. For high-risk categories, normal users should not be able to bypass. Exceptions go through IT with approvals.
Application control, app locker, WDAC. Are we at allow good day yet?
Yes, move from block bad to allow good. App Locker or WDAC allow only pre-approved signed apps and block executables from user-writable directories like downloads or temp. Start in an audit, learn what runs, block execution from malware hotspots, and apply stricter controls to high-risk groups. Even if someone downloads malware, it simply can't run.
Local admin rights still a thing? Quick guidance?
Remove standing local admin for normal users. Malware running as a standard user has limits. Local admin amplifies damage, disabling AV, dumping credentials, installing kernel tools. Use Windows Laps or equivalent so local admin passwords are unique and rotated. Use just-in-time elevation when needed.
Host firewall. People forget this. One line on why it's important.
Host-based firewall is a lateral movement break. Default deny inbound. Only allow management services centrally managed via Intune or GPO so users can't switch it off. It stops easy pivoting across the LAN.
Telemetry. What do analysts actually look for to detect early stages?
High-value telemetry, process creation with parent-child chains, PowerShell and script logs, new persistence artifacts, services, scheduled tasks, run keys, and unusual outbound connections or data egress. With EDR telemetry, you can trace who opened which attachment, what process ran, and where credentials were used next. That enables early isolation before encryption or wide exfiltration.
If an endpoint is suspected compromised, what's the immediate response checklist?
Contain first isolate from network via EDR or disable VPN. Goal is to stop lateral movement and exfil. Preserve evidence. Avoid immediately reimaging. Capture memory if serious. Collect EDR logs and process artifacts. Follow playbooks. Who to notify, when to auto-isolate, criteria for rebuild versus cleanup. Playbooks beat ad hoc scrambling every time.
Cleanup versus rebuild. How do you decide?
Deep cleanup must remove all persistence, secondary tooling, and rotate potentially exposed credentials. If you suspect kernel-level rootkits or extensive tampering with security components, re-image from trusted media and re-enroll. Fast, shallow fixes create repeat incidents. Careful rebuild creates confidence you've removed the attacker.
Okay, Harinder, close with your endpoint hardening checklist. Give our listeners a scorecard they can take back to their teams.
Baseline platform, Defender AV plus EDR active, cloud protection, tamper protection, updates, host firewall default deny. Macro script controls, block internet macros, ASR rules in audit then block, PowerShell logging enabled. App control, AppLocker/WDAC in audit then enforce, block execution from user-writable paths. Reputation, smart screen enforced. Users can't bypass high-risk prompts. Identity, remove standing local admin, lapse for unique local admin creds, MFA and conditional access. Monitoring and response, EDR telemetry actively monitored. Alerts for suspicious PowerShell/WMI/new services, documented IR playbooks. Governance, baselines, drift detection, metrics, time to detect, contain, recover, and coverage of endpoints with EDR ASR. With those in place, inevitable mistakes become small, containable events rather than company-defining crises.
That's a solid list. One last blunt question. Harinder, can you stop every attack?
No, and we shouldn't promise that. You can't stop every click or exploit. But with strong endpoint security, layered controls, monitoring, and practiced playbooks, those inevitable mistakes become small, containable events instead of company-defining crises. And that's an outcome every board and every SOC can get behind.
Perfect. Thanks, Harinder. Listeners, take this checklist back to your teams. Start with audit modes and prioritize telemetry and playbooks. Any final quick tips, Harinder?
Yes. Start where you can get wins fast. Block internet macros, enable ASR rules and audit, enable PowerShell logging, ensure Defender is active and centrally managed, and have at least one practiced playbook for a single compromised endpoint. Those moves reduce blast radius immediately.
Good. All right, that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks again, Harinder. And to everyone listening, stay vigilant. And remember, it's not about perfect prevention, it's about making incidents manageable. We'll be back next week with a session on EDR tuning and alert fatigue. Bye for now.